So I'm answering a question from an individual. The, the individual's just really made a comment about my last video was about retire release clients in Commvault Command Center in Java Console, and it's just when we have this individual said when we have retired a client, it kept it due to backup jobs still associated, and that's true. If you have a client out there and it has backup jobs, when you retire it, a lot of times what people do is they'll have to save the backups so that they don't delete the client essentially because they still have backup jobs. My last job, we had that too, where we had, when I worked at MSP, we had multiple clients that we had backups, and the retention was 7 years, or 7 years, 10 years. I think it was 10 years. And we had to retain that data. So if we would have deleted the client, we'd have outstanding backup still. And so what you do is you just wait till the backup jobs age off, and then you can delete the client. Now on the client itself, you can right click. I'll show you. There's no backup from this job here. We didn't provide a backup, but you would see it here in the data management job history. Now, what we usually do in MSP, what we'll do is we'll right click and retire it, but we'll also go in the properties of the client itself, and we'll put under description information, something like whatever the data is, retired per ticket, whatever, XYZ, whatever the ticket number is, doesn't matter what it is. And then you put your initials, whatever your initials are. And then you, there. Now if we go client computers, you'll see it here, description. That way if you have 100 or 1,000, let's say, or more, 10,000, whatever, clients, you can see if it's grayed out, then okay, it's retired. But why was it retired? So now you know why, because you have a description in there. Really, that's how you know it as well. Let's say, for instance, the customer, this has happened to me actually. Customer asked us a couple years ago, please, we're not going to back up that client anymore. Please don't back it up anymore, retire it, etc. They said just don't back it up anymore, which meant we retired the client. And what we did was I emailed them. I said, per your request, we retired the client, meaning there's no more backups that'll happen on the client. And then we put a ticket in and all that. And then I emailed them ticket number and all that. And then here I put the ticket number. That way, now what would happen is several years after that, the customer said, hey, we need to restore that server name, whatever it was. And then I said, well, per your request back in XY, the date it was, and the ticket number XYZ, and then I pulled the ticket number. And in ServiceNow, that's a ticketing system. I just put information in ServiceNow. Matter of fact, the email string I put in there, the email thread I put in the ticket, so that if I need to reference again, I have all the data from the email. So I said, like, per your request on this date, we retired the client and stopped backups on the client. And then the reason I know that I did it is because imagine I had, I don't know how many thousands I had, but a lot of clients here. So I could just see, oh yeah, that's the ticket number. I went to ServiceNow, put the ticket number in, and then I was able to pull the data that I needed to support what I did for the customer. Because you're going to forget, especially if you work at MSP, you're going to forget what you did. You do something on Monday, you're going to forget by Friday. What did I do? Unless you have it tracked in ServiceNow or some type of ticketing system, you won't know exactly what you did. And that's very common. That's something very, very, very happens a lot. It just helps you to track what you do in Commvault And because you never want to lose data for the customer. Your last resort is to delete a client. You don't want to delete a client. You don't want to delete data. Your best case scenario is just to leave it there, retire it, don't delete it, retire it, or release the license. And that way you're not charged as an MSP. And then just let the data age off. Because there's been sometimes when the customer has in the past asked me to re-back up the client, essentially. Just re-back up it again because they wanted to re-back. So it just means if it's retired, you have to reinstall the license, which just means you have to go in their go in their client, uninstall license, reinstall license, or just repair license in some cases, and just perform a full, the next full backup, essentially. Now, if it's the client has been released, the license has been released, all you do is depending on how long it's been a couple years, it's a little different, but if it's been a couple months, you can just right click and add license, install license, essentially. If it can still contact the client, that is, a lot of times it can. And then you just perform backups, make it easy for you. Thanks a lot. We'll see you in the next one.